How y'all doing today? Welcome to Open Diary. I got a special guest today. She's gonna share her story. How you doing, Miss Ashley?
Hi, everybody. I'm good. Um, you know,
Well, what brings you to Kensington today?
I've been out here for a couple years now, ripping and running, and in the game and whatever. It is what it is. I'm doing the wrong thing at the wrong time, I guess.
I hear that. Kensington's sort of rough, ain't it?
Very rough. I don't think rough is the word. I think it goes a little further than that. To be honest.
Well, can you give me some experiences been going on with you lately in Kensington?
Well, okay. So a lot of what us females do out here to make our money is what we call dates. Obviously, escorting whatever. Some of us post online, some of us walk the Ave, as we call it, walking the Ave, Kensington Ave. Um, lately men just been very abusive.
Wow, sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that. What's some of the experiences you have with these men?
A couple weeks ago, I got into a car with somebody, and he was pretty cool at first. Asked me if I would cop for him, which means obviously grab drugs. And so, anyways, long story short, I grabbed what he asked me to grab, and everything was cool at first, and he got all high and weird, what we call tweaking, sketching, whatever, and started driving his car at like 90 miles an hour down fucking Lehigh Ave. Anyways, long story short, almost a high speed chase, had cops, fucking everything you can imagine, and that's just you know a
Yeah,
story from this week.
wow, I know that gotta be kind of rough. Can you like elaborate on your childhood, what kind of life you grew up living?
Me growing up, I had a I had what I would call a pretty difficult childhood. Um, my mother raised me and my older brother by herself. She had to work more than any human being should, and she got beat a lot. She had a pretty shitty boyfriend at one point. He used to beat on her, and you know, CPS got involved, and she had to fight for us, and so on and so forth. In between that, when I was a little kid, I mentioned in my other interview that I got bit by a dog in my face, and I was like 3 years old at the time. It was either on my third birthday or on Thanksgiving, which were 2 days apart, so one or the other. But anyways, long story short, um, she had just gotten into a fight with her boyfriend a couple hours to that prior, and the whole environment in the house was hostile. I woke up from my nap, got out the baby gate, fell down the stairs, and landed on top of the dog. So, in his reaction, something just tackled him. So he turns around and just rips my face apart. And, I was tiny.
Well, I noticed you ain't mentioned, I play that basketball. You be shooting that like Curry, you know. Give me his, give me a backlash of, when you was playing ball. How did you get into that?
I started very young. Like I said, I had an older brother that I admired incredibly. I was his biggest fan, and he did all that sports shit. And we got a basketball hoop when we were young, and I practiced and practiced and practiced, and got better and better, and just started whooping kids' asses on the court. Got my 3 points on point. Started playing for my school in middle school and high school, and it went on from there. I had a
Well,
great
for the
college
people
career.
watching this, where can they go find your basketball clips?
YouTube, Google, anything.
What's your name? What they got at Google?
You just look up Ashlee King.
Okay, because I'm telling you, y'all, she shoot that ball like Curry, you know.
I'd say Kobe, but
Right.
I'm still looking.
Okay. Well, can't go wrong with the Black Mamba. I
Right.
get that.
Right.
But Kobe dropped. He didn't like passing that ball. So, are you the same way?
Why pass it if you're gonna make it every time?
So, what made you get on this path? How did you start using drugs?
Boy. Hanging out with the wrong crowd and shit, that all had something to do with it. But the drug use started uh with pain management, actually. I had my oldest son very young, had to have some surgeries done. They pump you full of pain medicine. Boom, 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 boom. Oxys after oxys after oxys. And yeah, so anyways, long story short, I got into the oxys in high school.
Yeah, that's pretty sad because growing up when I was coming up here, you could go to the doctors and they just prescribed you,
Like Skittles.
perks and once them came off the market, um, everybody was just stuck. They just start using dope or heroin or now I assume it's Fetty. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
so what plans do you have to try to get off it?
I was just talking to a friend about that a second ago, excuse me. I visit with my kids this week on Tuesday, and I have plans to have them and their dad drop me off um, at Jefferson to go do what I gotta do. Get this monkey off my back.
Yeah, because I know it got to be pretty rough. How do you go about supporting your habit?
Dates, escorting, fucking borrowing from Pete to pay Paul, selling drugs.
And it's pretty dangerous here in Kensington. Have you seen any horror stories?
Horror stories. But every day in Kensington's a horror story.
Shout out to Miss Katie Kling. I'm sorry, Miss Katie Ding. So if anybody want to leave some comments, talk to Ashlee. You know, comment section is on. Anybody want to any questions they want to be answered? Feel free.
Oh man, I didn't even know they were doing that. Katie said, "Hey, hey, girl." So, speaking on that, by the way, uh, anybody who's trying to get clean in Kensington, you cannot go get clean and come back out to the streets of Kensington a week after getting clean and think that there's going to be some type of success rate because you're signing yourself up for failure, jumping right back into the hell you walked out of.
Well, give or take, how many times you had tried that experience and came out here looking for different results?
Good 10, 20 at least. Um, it don't work at all. You might think it will for a minute. You might go a day or two and think that you're doing something you're supposed to be doing, but it don't work.
Shout out to Rock and Roll. He said the truth, and that is true because in my past, I done had some experiences, and that's the first thing I did. Ran back out here just to show people, oh, I'm looking better, and within a week, I was, man, tore all the way up.
Right back to the same shit.
Right. So I would just tell anybody, who's out of addiction, you know, don't look back and don't come back to Kensington because Kensington is really,
There ain't nothing here for nobody who's trying to live a better life by
right,
any means.
right. So you went to college, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I did.
Did you finish?
Yeah, I graduated college
Oh,
with a
correct.
business degree.
Wow,
I
wow.
did. I sure did. I worked very hard.
And hopefully you could get sober because we need people like you. We need more businesses here in Kensington. You know.
Seriously, we need everything in Kensington, boy. There's so much. What's the word I'm looking for? Um,
You tell me.
uh, like a really strong word for
Well,
like
I'm gonna
a
just
need.
say, let's start with hope and prayer. You know,
Well,
we
absolutely.
we can start there because
That's where you should always start.
because I walk the streets and I see people, it look like they have no souls left, and it look numb. You know,
Absolutely.
everybody here is so angry. I'm just gonna give you a little story. Like I had went down south,
Yeah.
and when I went to Carolina, people will walk up on me and say hello, and I was scared, and I was like, why are you
Why?
looking at me like that? Why are you saying hello to me? You don't know
Right.
me. Because and then, it rubbed off on me down there. So when I came back up here, I started telling people hello and people looking at me like, you serious? I murder you. Don't don't be talking to me. You don't know me,
Right. Right.
you know. And I would see kids today, they walk around, they watch people, nod off, which is sad, and
It is very.
they, yeah, and they just,
It's normal.
hit them, do all kinds of things.
There's people on the sidewalk, half dead or dead, and people are stepping right over them like they don't even exist.
Right? So I guess they say we ain't gonna call an ambulance. We
That's
got because the ambulance come, that stop their robbery. They
that's
can't go in their
exactly
pockets
what it is.
and take things.
And this stuff is sad, boy. That's somebody's, brother, son, friend, whatever the case. Everybody's a human being, and then just step over somebody like they're not even laying there.
Well, you got. I mean, it shouldn't happen, but at the same time, we should be more responsible, not to be laid out,
Absolutely.
you know. But I guess that's he was said and done.
Of course.
You have any children, Ashley?
I do. I have three, actually. I have a 15-year-old boy, a 6-year-old girl, and a 3-year-old boy.
Do you ever get a chance to talk to them?
I see them weekly. Uh, by the grace of God, I have a ex-partner, that is a very responsible, very good parent. And he works hard to help me.
Are you still in love with them?
Maybe.
I always wanted to know, ask that question, like, um, if two people go through some things and one turn out, you know, becoming an addict and it ends bad,
Right.
is there a chance that they can rekindle that relationship, or with the past always still hard with them?
Right. Um, I have a real hard time with it. I do. I have a real hard time.
Why is that? Because the guilt, or
The guilt on my side, um, but honestly, more so some of the things that he had done, you know, that had caused us to separate, were very serious things when you're with somebody, when you love somebody, that shouldn't be done. And I have a hard time just acting like things are okay, I guess.
well, I guess sometimes when you go to rehab and you sober up, how hard is it for you to just push back all of the bad things you have done in your addiction?
Right.
Do you,
That,
do you still think about them things, or
of course,
would that hinder you of actually getting help and moving forward?
it has. I'm sure it has everything to do with me feeling strong enough to get past, you know.
Well, you deserve to be loved, sweetheart. So you gotta push them things to the back and keep it moving forward. Even though I know it's hard to say that, because there's some things I still struggle with, you know,
Yeah.
and I've been sober, mm, not long enough, but been sober for a while.
But you've been sober.
Right. I know you from, actually years ago,
Yeah.
you know,
It was years ago, believe it or not.
but
Feels like it was a summer ago.
how I deal with it, I know I have done things where I could see people now today and they still grilling me, they still shoot me, mean faces, but with me trying better now,
Right.
I don't let that bother me no more because I know I'm not that person no more.
Right. Right.
You know,
Right.
you know. So how's today been for you?
You know, wake up, fucking stress about what I'm gonna do to get what I need. Go from there. It's always the first thought.
And that have to be pretty rough, huh?
Yeah. I mean, you know, your first thought shouldn't be where are the drugs at? That's not healthy.
Yeah, I know. But you know, it's never too late to change, sweetheart. Never too late. And I believe in you. I believe that you could change. I believe that we all owe that to ourselves. Shout out, Miss Robin. How you doing, baby? Yeah, that's my mother, Miss Robin Grant. How you doing,
Miss
baby?
Robin. Hi, honey. Nice to meet you.
So, are you thinking about going back and getting help?
Yeah, like I said a little earlier, I think I'm gonna have my ex-husband and my kids drop me off Tuesday morning after we have breakfast.
I'm sorry, say that again. Talking to Mike a little bit.
I think I'm gonna have my kids and my husband drop me off Tuesday morning after we do breakfast.
Oh, y'all going to do breath. That's nice.
Yeah,
Something productive.
yeah,
And I was wondering, I never dealt with fetty,
right,
fentanyl,
right.
but teach his own. A drug is a drug, and drug I was doing is no better, you know. But
No,
I be seeing people at times out there, and and they be going through the withdrawal, and I ask them why they don't go get help, and they would say because going through the withdrawal it's painful. But to me, it's like if they was going through the withdrawal today,
mm,
why not go get help? Because even though they get well that day,
yeah.
tomorrow it's the same story.
Hours later, it's the same story.
How long does it? How long do that stuff actually last?
I mean, it's different. Drugs are drugs, so they're different in the sense of stronger, least strong, whatever the case may be. But for me, in my experience, I'm sick within 4 or 5 hours.
Oh man, you see, that's nice. Thank you, Miss. I believe KCPB. You see, she said, "Amen. You're worth it, Ashley. Rooting for
Oh,
you."
thank you, love.
She got sober in 2021. You
That's
see,
awesome. That's awesome.
so people does show love.
It seems so hard to do, but people do it. So there's no reason I can't.
So currently, what drugs are you on right now?
Fentanyl, trank, which is either xylazine or medetomidine, um, cocaine.
So when you're on the fentanyl, um, and do you realize that you nodding out,
I
or
mean, no, not until
or
I.
when you nodding out, could you still hear what's going on around you?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Because I know sometimes I'll be with the good brother Mel from AML, and we'll go and tap somebody on the shoulder that's nodded out, and first thing they say
Come right
is,
to.
"I'm not asleep."
Right.
Or sometimes some be on the ground and they're turning purple, and soon as you give them the Narcan, they wakes back up. But though we thought we did the right thing by saving their life,
Right.
they would say, "Why the hell did you do that?"
Right. Right. It's different for everybody.
And when the last time you got a good night's sleep?
um, Probably the last time I was in the hospital, to be honest. And that's because in the hospital they'll put me on, Seroquel or something along those lines that knocks me the fuck
And what did you believe brung you back out here once you had got clean?
out. It's like a comfort blanket.
I'm sorry, say it again.
It's like a comfort blanket almost. It's like for me, I've been doing it for such a long time that I almost feel like uncomfortable without it, like a baby with a binky or a kid with their wubby or their little blanket that they carry around. It's like what you're used to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's your testimony if it makes sense to you, but I'm here to tell you, it's not a blanket.
Yeah, I know.
It's more like a cell with a lock on it.
Right.
You know. So I'm gonna look at some comments real fast.
Yeah, I'd like to hear him.
KCPD said my brother's on the streets of Kensington. Last I knew, haven't heard from him in a year. Praying he's still alive. Yeah, I pray for him too. Pray for him too, because so many of us, get caught in this black hole, and there's no return.
Right.
You know. So you said you use drugs all day, or
Yeah.
try to. Well, what are you trying to numb? What feelings are you trying to suppress?
I use drugs whenever I have them, as much as I can, however long I can.
I mean, why is that? Are you trying to escape reality?
Of course. Of course. Why does anybody do drugs?
No, I mean, I'm not debating that,
To
but
feel better, to get away, to have something be different.
I'm here to tell you that as long as you're on this earth,
Yeah.
there will be reality. That's reality in
And
itself.
that's where that right there, what you just said, is the exact answer that I give when somebody asks me why I haven't got clean yet. And that's it. Because I'm terrified of reality.
Terrified?
Terrified.
Are you terrified to
It's my
die?
biggest fear.
Are you terrified to die?
No,
No.
I'm not terrified.
Well, if you were to die today, where would you believe you would go?
No.
Well, somebody pray for Ashley, you know, because none of us should believe we going to hell. You know, our God is in heaven. You believe in the Lord?
Um, I've had a really hard time with that. To tell you the truth.
'Cause
I've seen too much ugly. I've been through too much ugly.
well, you have a hard time believing in that because you've seen bad things or experienced bad things. Would
Not
that
only myself, like people that I love, people, children, just period in life. There's so much hurt and negativity and
well, in your situation, because some of the bad things you've seen, and I never felt like there wasn't a God, but I used to always say that if there was a God, then some of these things should not happen or happen to me. But then I realized who do I know, who I think that got me out of them bad situations, and it sure wasn't myself.
I mean,
You you got shot before in the park, right?
yeah, I did.
And how did that happen?
Apparently, it was by accident. A young kid was shooting at somebody else or something else. I'm not sure, but I just so happened to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Well, if you had if one wish could come true for you, what would you want that wish to be?
Um, for my kids to feel about me how I feel about them.
I'm sorry, said repeat that again.
You're gonna make me say it.
I'm sorry, well, I know that's a touchy subject, so we don't have to talk about that. It's okay. But they could feel about you, the way you feel about them, but that's something you would have to work on and change to help them feel that way.
I'm very aware of that.
But if that's part of your trauma, you not being with your kids, can't keep this running deeper and deeper into addiction. And when I asked you, was you scared to die? You said no. But the reality of that's selfishness because if you love your kids, then that'll be pain on them also. So you get a little, take a little, break. I'm sorry, I don't have no tissue on me right
No,
now.
I'm cool. It's okay. It's okay. I'm cool.
So if the world was to judge people and they got a misconception, what would you want them to know about Ashley, the Ashley inside?
What would I want them to know about me?
If they was judging and had a misconception about you, just to clear it up, what would you want them to know about you, sweetheart?
That I don't ever mean anybody no harm. I'll help anybody in the world. I uh I always have positive intentions for anybody, strangers, people I know. Um, I'm a good friend to those that need me as much as I can be, and I guess that's it.
Miss Casey PB said self love is so important. We talked about self love yesterday in the meeting, and I have to agree with her. Self love is so important
I think that's what I'm suffering with the most.
because without self love, nobody. I mean, if I don't love myself, then I can't love nobody else, and I'm a firm believer that because I used to think like, well, I love my kids, but at the same time, I was running out here,
Right,
doing all the irresponsible things,
right,
and and at the end of it, all bad things was happening, and my kids was suffering,
right.
and I didn't understand that them things was happening because I wasn't loving them properly like I thought because I wasn't loving myself.
Right.
So when you look in the mirror every day, what do you see, Miss Ashley? Well, let me start off by saying this. When I look at you, I see you're still a beautiful soul. But when you look at yourself, what do you see?
The stress, pain,
I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
stress, pain, sadness, suffering. Nothing that I'd ever want to see if I had a choice.
Well, I'm not gonna say,
And it's sad because I used to love to look at myself in the mirror.
and you could get back to that. I support you.
Yeah,
I love you.
I know. I
You
love you
know,
too.
give me a hug. It's okay. But you just gotta get back to what Ashley once was. I know it's still in there. It's installed. You went to college. You graduated.
Yeah,
You got it in you.
yeah,
You know, just you just gotta be selfish. Sometimes selfish ain't always a bad thing. You gotta be selfish with your needs, not your wants.
right.
See, wants be you know all the material things or all the gratifications,
Mm,
but the real needs that you need be my self esteem, my integrity,
right.
you know, and you could do it because when I met you, you know, you was smiling, you was a happy going person, and now sometimes it seems like, you know, that's gone, that's in the dark, but it don't have to be.
Right.
It don't have to be.
And I don't want it to be at all.
And you're a beautiful person. Like I said, you graduate college, you know, you have very, very good potential.
Right.
You major in business. Can't just let that go to waste.
I worked very hard for all that.
So you have to put it, put it to use
Right.
because it's like, when you take a tree, a tree made of paper, a book made of paper, actually. And if you open that book, you get to see the colors, you get to see the wisdom. But if that book stay closed on the shelf, it's nothing but a dead log.
Right.
And I believe you'll get there.
I have to start surrounding myself with better people.
Yes. Places, places, people, and things. New playground,
Right.
new playmates. But also, you gotta remember to filter the good
Right.
and throw away the waste because even if you go where good people at, good surrounding, you can always take yourself there.
Right. It doesn't help when you're surrounded by negativity.
Right. Right.
Because, I mean, whatever you're surrounded by, whatever energy is around you for a certain period of time starts to affect you.
Well, Rock and Roll said, praying you go to the detox and rehab Tuesday. Is there anything you want to say to Rock and Roll?
Please pray for me. Um, I can definitely use it. I uh, I have my mind set on that, so I'll be there by Tuesday afternoon. I will.
Well, y'all heard it from her first. We all pray for her, right?
I need as much support as possible. You know what I mean? Kind words, nice comments, all those things matter.
Absolutely. So everybody remember who dropped a comment, to stay calm, and give encouragement,
Please.
because that does help. Right, Ashley?
I I noticed that the streets are like a lot clearer lately, as far as like people out getting high. Like like 2 years ago, you couldn't even like walk down the sidewalk, remember? Without stepping over people and cops being everywhere and all that. So it just passed my mind talking about the podcast and getting sober and shit. I wonder if that's really like a lot to do with like people passing away or jail or what. But I feel like the amount that are gone now, like, I don't know. We're gonna have to look into that.
Well, my good friend, from AML, he always checks on the street, so
Yeah.
I believe he, check it out, but and that's sad to know that a lot of people, you know, are missing. Haven't seen people for
Right.
years, and I pray that they just went and got together and got outside of Kensington.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that maybe a lot of people actually went and got clean.
But the reality of it all is that some might be dead, some, might be in jail, but I'm praying that, we haven't lost a lot,
Right.
but it's unlikely, because I still see people, and I see people that went to jail, and I run to them out here in the street, and I'd be like, "Oh, why is you back out here?" And they'd be like, "Oh, I'm just hanging out." But to me,
Craziest thing ever.
but to me that be bull, But I can't really preach to them and
Right.
say you shouldn't be here because that never worked for me when people
Right.
was telling me that, and
It's not like it's gonna make an actual effect.
right, and I wouldn't even be still in Kensington, if I didn't have a purpose.
Correct.
I
That's
come
my point.
right,
Like
right,
to be in Kensington at all after you're sober and you get your shit together, unless it's something like great, like you're doing to help people, to do something positive, nobody really has any reason to be out here. You know what I'm saying?
right. And you a beautiful soul, so I'm hoping and praying that when you go get yourself together, you will come out and help me also to help other people because that's what we supposed to do to break this chain.
I'm looking forward to it. I surely am.
And I would love for you to come out and do that, you know. And I just we want everybody to know that at the every thunderstorm, there's a rainbow that follows,
You're right.
and and I'm gonna say all the souls here is not bad because I run into some people that still getting high that I used to hang with and hang around, and when they see me,
Yeah.
they don't show no animosity, no jealousy. They smile and they be happy,
Absolutely.
They be happy, and I
I
say,
was
man,
super happy when I saw you for the first time in a long
and it's good to see people still have good hearts because
time.
the things they go through, it's pretty bad.
It
Like
gets ugly out here.
the other day, me and the AML family, we was giving out donations, and we passed
Yeah.
through the train station, and there was this girl. She was on a step. She wasn't coherent, and the cop was sitting there writing her ticket, and
When she was incoherent.
yeah, and the first thing he said to us was, I asked her, do she want help? Do she want me to call an ambulance? And I had to give her this ticket. Now she couldn't even understand nothing he was saying. So why wouldn't he had this called the cops? Because you know it's sad because he know that person wasn't going to be able to pay that ticket. So
Right.
what happened in these situations a lot of time? Excuse me. So what happened in these situations a lot of times is that you go to court
Right.
and they know you can't pay for it, and the first thing they say to you is, "Well, we're gonna give you community service." And when they say they're gonna give you community service, it's not like you go pick your own place you go do it at.
Right.
They got a list where you go do it. So I could be wrong, but it just
No.
tells me that they get the kickback but on the other end, you still don't get the help you need.
at all.
Right. Or like when they lock you up now. They lock you up, you go
Yeah,
to jail.
yeah,
They it used to be a time where they had, the drug court where they send you to the drug programs out here.
right.
But now they send you into the system and you do no programs. They had no drug programs really for you. So when you come back out, it's the same results,
Yeah, there's nothing done.
because your addiction was in there doing push ups. It's getting stronger, you know? Oh, okay. Miss Robin Grant said, praying for you, Ashley, and for those that who are still sick and suffering. May God take over,
Thank you,
you know,
thank you.
which is good. You see, so everybody up here rooting for you, Ash.
It's
You
nice to see all them nice comments.
And you promise when you do get out, you will come back and do another interview on the podcast, so people can see your success.
I like that one too.
Which one? Talk to them.
With, um, Casey, no testimony without a test, and no message without a mess.
What do you believe about that?
I've never heard that saying before, but I love it.
Well, what you take from it?
No judgment, basically, is what that says to me. And you got to struggle to get to the top.
You see, Miss Marcy said, she said, I have a big heart. Thank you, Miss Marcy.
You do. He does.
And she said, you got this, Ashley. I will be praying for both of you.
Thank
We
you.
definitely need the prayers, right?
Yeah. Always.
Because I seen both sides of it. And, thank God, with the help of God, I'm never going back there.
At all.
And I don't mean that in a wrong way. I'm not better than nobody.
No, of course not.
I'm just better than I was
You got
yesterday.
to your point that you were done with it, and that's that.
But it's so weird because, well, I'm not gonna say it's weird or amazing. I'm just gonna say that was God's plans, because
Absolutely.
nobody couldn't tell me a year ago that my suffering from addiction would be over,
Right.
and I would be back here helping the same place that I
Right.
helped destroy.
Right.
So
You'd be like, what?
right? So God worked in mysterious ways.
He does.
He does.
And for us to run into each other.
So therefore, you do believe in the Lord also. At times.
I believe that there's something that is divine in comparison to us, but I have a hard time believing the specifics of it, if that makes sense.
Well, it's your testimony, but all I could say is that when you go to rehab and you clear up a little bit,
Yeah.
just give it a chance and pick up the book, because it make miracles. It work miracles. It definitely do.
I've been thinking a lot about, about looking into some kind of religion.
You have to, because it's bigger than me and you. The world is bigger than me and you, Ashley. You know? So you can't keep wasting these times, and
that's what I'm doing.
Right? Because time wait for no one.
And that's what I'm doing. I feel like I've wasted so much time.
So I just, hope the best for you. And well, I know you got this though. I know you got it.
Yeah.
Let's see what they say.
Nothing good in Kenzo when you're in recovery. Agreed. Marcy said you have a big heart. We already read that.
Claudio Conte. Shout out to Claudio Conte. I wish you good luck for.
From Tuscany.
Wow.
She said nothing good in Kenzo when you're in recovery sets you up for failure. Yes, it does.
I believe that.
It absolutely does. But I also am a firm believer that once somebody is ready and truly sick and tired and doesn't want to do it anymore, any outside anything from that bubble doesn't matter. Somebody's going to get sober and stay sober when it's truly for them, what they want to do, and how they want to change their life. And outside aspects, anything, relationships, I lost my job, you know what I mean? Whatever the case may be, that shuts us off isn't enough to stop the sobriety because
So you had clean time, right?
yeah,
I don't know if you ever experienced it, but I always wanted to know that too. I wanted to know
I did.
also when you come home sober and you're not doing drugs, how important it's for you to have, your alone time
Right.
and not jump right into a relationship. Have you ever been through that where you
Yes.
jump right into a relationship and
Yes.
it sends you back in your addiction?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. And as soon as he turned into a shitty partner, and I went right back to feeling like how I felt in my last relationship, and low, and not feeling pretty, and feeling like I'm not good enough for somebody. All that shit brought me right back down to the same spot I was before I went and got clean.
Well, I so what would you do this time if this was to
This time,
if this was to happen once you sober? If you happen to get into a relationship with a partner make you feel not worthy, what would you do different?
this time is gonna be all about me. I'm gonna use that advice, the whole being selfish and just worry about me.
Well, shout out to you, rock and roll. Yes, we are family,
Absolutely.
and I would like y'all, to accept Ashley too as family because she's family too. Would you like to say anything to them?
Um, I feel that if we all stick together and continue to communicate with each other and pick each other up and stay positive, people make mistakes. Don't ever feel like if you slip up or do something that might make you feel like you're disappointed in yourself, don't ever feel like you can't come talk to somebody because there's always somebody that gives a fuck. And
Well,
I'm here. I know he's here. Boy Mel's here.
well, I see you out there. You're a loner, but do you have any friends out here?
Um, there's a few people that I would call friends. I don't take the word friend lightly.
Okay.
I get along with everybody. I'm there for everybody. You know what I mean? I do what I can for any and everybody. Um, I take the word friend like I would take the word husband or wife.
Well, you got Miss Casey PB. She say, "Great idea, being selfish. Get to know you again. Wait at least a year or two to get into a relationship. Set a good foundation first. What do you believe about that?"
I think she's absolutely right. 100%. I have to. I have to get to know me and be there for me and love me first, for sure.
Well, in time, like I said, I know you could do it, and for whatever reason, it just seems like when you get out of Kensington, your life does change.
Where's the other?
So when rock and roll said, "Yeah, work on yourself first,"
First
and
and foremost,
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
thank you for all you do, Mom. Thank you for all you do, Mom. I'm so proud of you. We are a family.
Yeah, and that means you too. You part of the family also.
I feel that way. It's nice.
So we all rooting for you. You
It's
know.
nice. And I'll make sure, like, come in Tuesday because it's only a couple days away. Tomorrow's Monday, right? Maybe we can Monday night do a little short podcast.
You know, it's all possible.
Or,
Monday
whatever.
night, I will bring you back with though. You say your goodbye. Well, not your goodbyes, but
See you in a little bit.
right, right. Because, like I said, no judge, but you experienced what you told me about a guy taking you to the graveyard and almost killing you there. That was scaring the hell out of me.
Yeah. That was one of my worst experiences doing dates. That was the time I thought I was gonna die. For sure.
Right. And
For sure.
and none of us, you know, should have to go through that type of pain,
At all. And out here, I mean, these girls have boyfriends that are their boyfriends, supposedly, but they feed their habits. They go out and do dates, sell their bodies, and give their drugs and their money to these men, boyfriends.
You know, Speaking of that, I have seen that where
It's the craziest
I mean,
thing.
I don't mean to laugh because it's not funny. It's sickening,
It's the
but
craziest thing.
I have seen that where the girl go out and
Make money.
and she dates and he's standing there, waiting for her.
Literally, like a puppy waiting for his mom. Literally. And then, if she doesn't make enough money or doesn't do it fast enough, it's a fight.
Are you serious?
What? That's like one of the most common things out here. Girls that get beat up by their boyfriends because they don't make money fast enough.
Wow.
Insane. Absolutely insane. I don't know why a lot of girls don't go to, like, not that I condone this, guys, but, the whole posting thing, because it's at least a little safer than walking Kensington Ave.
So you saying that if they're going to do this, then they should post on Backpage or something before.
It's a little safer than Kensington Ave.
None of it is safe, sweetheart.
I'm,
I mean, not a little. None of
I
it's
get
safe
that part.
because even when you post and you gotta go to the hotel room, you don't know who's behind that hotel door. You know, so none of it is safe. You know,
I get that part too.
right? It's none of it is safe. So I would just say, you know, the safest thing is not to do it at all. You know what I'm
But
saying?
then what though?
Huh?
But then what though? What
What, you,
choices do some of the girls have?
what choices do they have?
Besides getting sober, which none of them are ready to do,
That,
so why
well,
waste their time?
like I said, no judgment, but that sounds like a great choice. Beside
I,
instead of putting yourself in the car, being
I
degraded
understand.
and not knowing even if you're gonna survive afterwards. And could you just imagine how many diseases is getting passed on around? Because
I understand,
I
but
see it's people that's doing this for $5, $10. Well, really, it don't matter how much money it is, but if somebody's sick, they're willing to do anything to what they call getting well,
correct.
you know. And I'm quite sure, well, a lot of this stuff goes on
Right.
unprotected. So can you imagine how many people's running around passing on disease to people?
I mean, that aspect of it, you know, that's on her. That the whole like STD and not using condoms and shit. If a female is, you know, being very unsafe, sexually active, whose fault is that? Right?
But it's going to happen. I mean, the reality of it, that happens. That happens because
That happens if it's allowed.
if you have a female in the car, I was supposed
Checking myself.
if you have a female if you have a female in the car, it would just pop up.
Read that.
If you had a female that's in the car and she's already sick and now she don't put her mind to it that, you know, now she's gonna get well by doing this. And if he used to say to her, well, I want to do this without protection,
Yeah.
will you think she just gonna get back out that car or she's gonna take her chance? Because remember, she's already
No,
taking
but
a
that's my
chance.
point, though.
She already took a chance by getting in the car.
But
So
that's my point, though, babe. That's when it comes down to her decision.
I mean, so you don't have to say it enough. So you're telling me if in your time of dating, you've never done unprotected sex? You don't have to answer that if you don't want to.
I can't say I've never done unprotected sex
Right. So
because there are many different types of sex. Intercourse? No.
well, you could get it all type of
Other
ways.
types of sex? Yes, I have.
Speak up in the mic.
And I'm not gonna. I will never sit anywhere and lie about my life and choices that I made because why do that? Where you know what I'm saying? It sounds bad because it is bad, but I still did it.
Because I know the females don't. Some people don't look at it as that go for male or female. You know, people don't look at it as when somebody say to you, "Well, I have nothing, and I'ma trust you." You better trust that that person done said that with so many others.
Oh, of course.
Well, we praying for you, and hopefully Monday you come back and we do the follow up. Before you go in.
I would love that.
Well, before we end this, is there's anything you want to say to the people that was watching this?
Thank you for taking the time out of your night to listen to me and about my life. I hope that it helps somebody to hear certain things. I know this helped me in a few different ways. And the people that I'm working with are great people. So if you ever have a chance to somehow get involved in what they've got going on and their crew and all the good things that they do, I advise that you do that. It's a very positive thing. And I'll keep up with you guys. And I'll be here Monday. And we'll go from there.
All right, y'all. That was well said. And there's one job to keep Ashlee, even myself, the whole world in y'all prayers, And, I'm glad she came on, and gave us the awareness. So let's applaud her on that. And remember in the comments, everybody just stay calm. And there's a saying, sometimes take a whole village, to raise a child. And sometimes it takes a whole community to uplift the sick and suffering. So I'll leave that with y'all. And thank y'all for tuning in to Open Diary. And with that, y'all all have a good night. Until the next time.